Like I said, we'll just move on.
Now her.
Uh-oh. Do you think she smells like mushrooms?
Is that that's a German Shepherd, right? Because they have the best like scent.
I'm not a dog scientist. Oh boy.
Oh shit. This is actually a brilliant idea to have dogs that
It's
can
very
smell it
smart,
out, so
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
have to use those buzzers from the Fredra.
Oh boy.
Look at how gray he is.
He's having like another panic attack too.
I'm starting to doubt if it's a German Shepherd or not.
Oh, what a good boy. Oh no!
In the adrenaline, you don't feel it, I
Oh,
guess,
yeah.
that like aggressive stab. Don't pull it out. You're not supposed to
Don't
pull it
pull
out.
it
You're
out.
not supposed to pull it out. You're not
You got
supposed to
it.
pull it out.
Oh, it's like it's a baseball bat.
Joe?
I'm gonna hit it
Oh
with a
boy.
baseball bat.
Joe, no, shit! Joe? Joe?
Ooh, don't touch it. Ooh, baby.
Joe, open your eyes.
Infection.
Open your eyes. Joe, you gotta get up.
Oh, honey. That's like Simba and the Lion King.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
I can't stand those scenes. Welcome back to New Rockstars, The Last of Us, episode 6. Ken is here. A show where I finally felt safe for about 40 minutes of this episode runtime for once. And hey,
This was the most joyous episode of the show
I called
we've
my
had.
mom. I called my mom and I said, Mom, wake up. It's a good day. It's a good day. Safe episode. This is The Break Room, our daily show that keeps you updated on all the nerdy news that you need to know. And today we're talking all about Last of Us. So grab some family and saddle up. Do not fall off as we dive in. I'm Jessica Clemons, and with us today is Brandon Barrick.
Oh, hello. I just want to get a drink at the Tipsy Buffalo. What a good name for a bar. I love it.
That was my nickname in college. And Anna Vanston.
Everybody loves contractors.
Wait, sorry.
I could hear my mother from across the country yelling like, no, not contractors. She's had a rough experience doing some renovations.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
As a reminder, for this first part of the episode, we will be spoiler-free, except for, what you've watched of this show so far. But we won't be talking about anything that happens in the games or anything that happens in part 2 or anything that we might know about the future of this show. So we'll just stick to what we know about this show as it has rolled out so far. We recommend, if you haven't played the games, to avoid reading the comments if you don't want to be spoiled. And if you're in the comments, try not to be so spoilery, or a dog will come and smell it on you. They can smell when you give out spoilers.
It's a German Shepherd.
It is a German Shepherd. There are a few foreshadowing moments in this episode for folks that have played the game before, but we'll be leaving those out of the episode recap, and we'll cover them later. We'll give you lots of warnings before we talk about game spoilers or spoilers for the future, so you'll be warned about that. But for now, this episode begins with a reminder of what happened last week. Why, Craig Mazin? We saw it. We lived through that trauma. We don't have to see it again. We cut to 3 months later. They're making some progress, and suddenly it's winter. That's how seasons work, folks. Joel interrogates a couple in their cabin and asks for some directions. This is my favorite couple in the apocalypse.
I want to live there. I want to live with them.
Yeah.
They were great.
Easy.
You may recognize character actor Graham Greene, who played Marlin, who's a Native American actor who's been in like everything. He was in like Dances with Wolves and Maverick. He's going to be in the upcoming Echo series. We saw him at D23. Great. I mean, just so many good quippy lines. I love that they've been there long before the apocalypse. And even though they're on guard, like, the woman couldn't help but like give them soup. Especially she's got a little girl.
I love her.
And she's got a mouth and he's like, holy hell. Just great. They were so great. I love them.
It's been nice to have an episode where I love how much Ellie curses, but
I
it's been
know.
addressed a lot in this episode. They're like, you have a mouth on you.
Well, like how like the growing up in Fedra in this awful place in the Boston QZ, you got a much more of an edge than you do if you have like a nice community to be a part of. This couple does have some bad news though. Anywhere there used to be people, you can't go there anymore. And the best advice on how to go west is to go east. And they warn Joel and Ellie about a group of people murdering humans and infected west of the river. They've never seen them, but they just see the bodies floating down. Also, it's important to note they have seen no sign of the fireflies, and that's what, Joel and Ellie are searching for. On their way out, Ellie steals a rabbit, and Joel rapidly becomes an old man with some intense chest pains. Us all aging men out there can identify with that.
You know what that's like?
That's me going up 2 flights of stairs. I'm like, this is it. Leave me here. Leave me here. Despite the warning, Joel and Ellie continue west into Wyoming. The show has started dropping more and more hints that Joel's care for Ellie is growing, and he's fighting it.
Yeah.
He's
There are
really
lots of little
liking her.
like parent moments, like put that down or get down from there, you're gonna break your neck. That's a little, like-
they're so close now, and it's so sweet to see. And then, blah, 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 blah. Go ahead, Jessica.
I was about to say, will this show make it to Father's Day? And it won't, right? There's 3 episodes, so I don't think it will. At night, Joel duct tapes his boot. They've been traveling on foot for months now. Ellie shares a drink and her passion for space travel with Joel. Shout out Sally Ride.
I just want to point out here, okay? This is more Michael Collins' replacement, okay? The names she drops are Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin. Michael Collins was also a part of Apollo 11. He didn't get to land on the moon, but he was in the command module, flying it around, okay? Then they dropped Jim Lovell, which is Apollo 13, if you remember that film, an actual historical event. And then this is the moment I really like. Joel guesses that her favorite astronaut is Sally Ride. I assume because that's who his daughter's favorite astronaut was. And I thought that was a really touching moment because that's how he knew that she liked Sally Ride. Sally Ride, an awesome astronaut, by the way.
I feel bad because as soon as they said it, I was like, who's Sally Ride? I'm not a history buff when it comes to our astronauts, but you are, so thank you for that. Also, an interesting detail, they have a fire here because they're in the middle of nowhere and less worried about the people finding them, which I thought about a lot during that episode. I was like, I was like, I guess there's no one there. Because there was also not that many trees, so you would see that fire from a very far distance.
Right, but I think they imagined, because before they're traveling along a highway, a charted path, and if people were also traveling, they would see the smoke. But I think in this instance, they're like, oh, we're on horseback, or we're walking, we're out in the middle of nowhere. I think we're okay to do a fire here, because there's no one around searching for people out here.
No one would kill those 2 anyway. Who would want to kill them?
Who'd want to kill them? They're so nice.
Kill them. I would. I wouldn't. I would never kill Ellie. I love her. Ellie mentions her concern about the vaccine and her inability to save Sam, and it's really sad. Ugh. Joel goes into dad mode and reassures Ellie. If Marlene says they can do it, and offers to take both watches. He falls asleep, this time with the good ear still up, but Ellie takes the second watch.
Yeah, I love how she's showing, I've been learning, and, he kind of acknowledges that. He's mad, but he's, also very proud. You can see it in his face. And he kind of, nods to say thank you for, letting me get some sleep that he probably really needs.
Well, and we see it at the end of the episode, how much that trust has grown when she's like, gun? He's like, gun.
Get that gun. Get that gun, girl.
Get that gun.
They continue towards Jackson and pass a dam that will be familiar to game players. Ellie asks if it makes electricity, and Joel says, yeah, don't ask me how. I don't have a clue.
Literally what every gamer was thinking.
Right.
How?
How? This is a small change after Ellie called Joel's bluff about the siphon in episode 4. There's also a great reference, which she says damn very funnily, and he references Bill Livingston, the author of our favorite pun book. They're circled quickly by a group of raiders, ? We don't know who they are, with a dog that can smell infected people. The dog clears Joel and moves on to Ellie. There's an interesting thing to note here. We saw it in the opening clip there. The camera holds on Joel while Ellie is being searched, and we get that same kind of sound design we did in episode 1, when Joel is being held up by the Fedra guard and he's waiting to see the results. And it's the blood is rushing in his head. I mean, here we see him physically having a panic attack. But it's a nice mirroring of what happened in episode 1.
Oh, I was do you think he gets that sound design when he's scared?
Yeah, and I think it was just reminding the audience of where his headspace is, and is he thinking I can't fight all of these people? One guy he could take, right, and surprise.
Well, they had
rush.
him put the gun down.
Right. He doesn't have his gun. He can't rush 10 people on horseback, all pointing guns at him, right?
Not with that attitude.
Not with that attitude. You gotta have a winner's attitude. But as this is happening, Maria hears Joel is looking for his brother. Her ears perk up, and that's their ticket into Jackson, baby. What a town! What a beautiful town!
Jackson, go ahead. Okay, I'm not singing more Johnny Cash. Man, how comforting was it to spend some time in Jackson?
Oh, baby, stay! Just stay!
There's so many instances. Which, this is why I wouldn't make for a good television show.
Right.
I would have stayed. At different places.
This is Bill and Frank all over again, where they leave the next morning.
And
It's
so
spend a
nice.
week, spend 2 weeks.
And honestly,
kick back.
Pre the pandemic, I was like, this is a civilization where they're all just
It's
helping
still a nice
each other.
town. Yeah, it's communism, baby. I love that. Don't question it. It's communism and it's working great.
Yeah, that moment was great where he was like, it's not communism. And she's like, yeah, it's communism.
That's the America baby. I was in the military. Tommy peeking out there.
She was like, no, it is communism.
Right.
I also just I love her being like, no, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Joel and Tommy reunite, and I love that Tommy is still working construction when Joel gets into the town.
I mean, was that, sorry, for a second, that kind of looked like a gallows they were building.
I thought it was. Was it not?
I don't
didn't
think
note
it
it.
was. I just that was the first thing I noticed was oh, this feels like a gallows or something
I
like
thought
that.
they were making something bad. I thought they were becoming Fedra.
Okay. Well, they have a jail. They gotta hang
But
someone.
they never used it.
They
Yeah,
never
no one-
used it, but you gotta have the threat of the gallows.
You could go in there. That's how they scare the kids.
Yeah.
Ellie stares on as Joel and Tommy embrace, a glance at how important family can be to someone, something she's never had.
The look of pain in her eyes when she's like, she's thinking like, he's never hugged me like
That's
this.
how I
I've
was-
never seen the soft side of Joel.
I was
Yeah.
also thinking it was more like, I was thinking when she did that, it was more fear that like, oh, he's gonna leave.
Yeah. She's like, oh, he's found something else to like
He's
love
found
and
his
care about.
brother.
Oh no.
Brother.
Don't worry, they're
Emma.
gonna have a fight.
So yeah, Tommy asks Joel what he's doing here, and Joel says he's come here to save him. Damn it, Tommy, why did you stop calling Joel back?
Yeah, that was rude as hell. Tommy. That was rude. At lunch, Ellie gets stared down by a local and is immediately hostile. And we learn that Tommy and Maria are married with a kid on the way. I also love here how like we see Ellie's classic fast eating, and Joel's kind of picked it up a little bit too. He's eating a little quick too.
Yeah, they're both survival
They're
eaters.
both hungry, and they're both
Yeah, they're like looking while
yeah.
they're eating.
That's that prison style eating where you gotta block your food. And be like,
Oh,
"No,
prison
take my food."
rules, bitch.
I love Ellie's edge, man. She's tough. I like it.
Oh my God, keep reading, keep
yeah,
going.
These
'cause
little
the hair.
sheep in their little town, they don't know what it's like out there. You gotta have an edge.
They're so cute. I love the sheep. I would want to be a sheep farmer too.
Oh,
They were
yeah,
so
sheep farming's
cute.
the way to
But
go.
they're gonna be eaten.
Plus, you get a good dog to round them up who can smell fungus. It's great. I guess everyone in this episode is going to have like a super weird relationship with family and new family dynamics. That's why they called it kin, baby. How about we get over it and everyone just stays in Jackson and we end the show and everyone is happy? I mean, this would be a great ending of the show. The end. They live on
And
forever.
they got a house. They
They
took
got a
over.
free house.
They got a free house.
Communism, baby.
Damn, I would. That's why I'm not made for television. I literally would have stayed. I would have
Yeah.
been like, "This is great. We just trade and I work and I help you guys. Let's do
I love
this."
it. I love it. Maria gives Joel and Ellie a tour and refers to Jackson as a commune. The Texas boys, of course, flinch in that, but she's totally right. Joel and Tommy share a drink, and Tommy breaks the news that he's not going to Colorado with Joel. It's too dangerous, and he has a family now. Maria's pregnant. Sorry, Joel, you don't count as family. Like, your old family, your old murder family. I got new
We're kicking
Jackson
in
family.
new family.
One is silver and the other's gold.
Yeah, right. Tommy asks about both Tess and Ellie, and Joel tells a double lie here. He says Ellie is just looking for her family. She's some family of some Firefly bigwig, and Tess is fine. She's not fine.
She's peaceful.
She got a kiss before she died, I guess. Joel walks outside, and after more chest pain, he sees a woman with hair just like Sarah, who probably would be just about her age if Sarah was still alive and she has a kid, and it's Christmas. And it's just, oh man, that is heavy stuff.
They also put up a little tree.
They put up a
have
little
the
tree.
decorations.
I was afraid Joel was about to lick that flagpole and get his tongue stuck.
Oh,
he
yeah,
walks up to a
Christmas
metal
story.
pole.
That
I
makes
thought it was
complete sense, Brandon. I was waiting for that scene to also happen.
I thought he was like, I wonder if this is true about a
Who
Christmas
double
story.
dog dared me?
Who
'Cause
double
I'm
dog-
gonna lick
Who
this
in this
pole.
town double dog dare me? I'll stab you.
Okay, so Ellie gets a shower and a Diva cup from Maria. Pretty clutch, but please find some boiling water to toss that thing into first because it looks hella old.
It looks a little, hopefully unused, yeah.
I mean, not hard to find boiled water. Also, I'm an idiot. I didn't think about the Diva cup. That's
It's much
a
smarter
great
than
attach.
looking for other hygiene products all the time, right?
Easy. I'm a dummy. You guys are more advanced on the show. Good job.
This is why you can't be on the show.
Yeah, just so be using tampons. In Maria and Tommy's house, she spots a little shrine to Sarah and Kevin, a 3-year-old that Maria lost in the first few days of the outbreak.
Oof.
It's sad. This is the first time Ellie hears that Joel had a daughter. She also gets a super fucking purple coat from Maria.
It's eggplant.
She's a super fucking purple coat from Maria and is kind of acting like an asshole about it. No, thank you at all. I feel like even with Ellie's sarcasm, she isn't usually rude like this. She's been extremely mean this entire time. I kind of like it. Maybe she can feel Joel looking to pull away or similarly getting attached and worried she'll lose like she lost her parents, Marlene, etc. everybody.
Right.
But also I just think she's keeping her guard up.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, it's not effective when it's like you're outnumbered. There's a million people here. There's only you and Joel. But like, I like that she's still like, well, Tommy's an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, she, is very much, has always been a survivalist. And if she comes out of the shower and all of her stuff is missing, like all of her clothes are missing, I can imagine she'd be like, where's my stuff? Don't take my stuff.
Yep.
Do you think it's kind of like a little quiet quitting too, right? Like if I'm an asshole, this town won't let me stay here and they'll kick Joel and I out and then
maybe.
Joel can't just drop me off here, right? I think it's a little bit of that. Like I'm going to be so on edge. And I mean, she has a point too. Like Maria was there to like kill them. And she's like, we're looking for Tommy. You know, I think she's allowed to be on edge. I did really like the moment too when Maria's like cutting her hair, and she's like, "Oh, did you used to cut hair?" And she's like, "I was a district attorney."
Well, no wonder you're bad at cutting hair.
that was like a great moment of like, I was a district attorney. Check yourself for a second. Holy shit! There's a movie theater in Jackson, and they're screening everyone's favorite film, the 1977 Richard Dreyfuss movie, The Goodbye Girl.
Everybody's favorite film.
Kids are loving it. Oh, they love a little 70s Richard Dreyfuss, baby. I mean, couldn't they have found like something from the early 2000s? These poor kids could have been watching like Finding Nemo. That came out in May 2003.
Are you the one that collects physical media?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have been good, but watch these people not carry their physical media around with them, Brandon. So they're like, oh, I have a weird Caddyshack.
There must have, maybe that's all that was left. I mean, I assume they've watched everything that was left in that movie theater, and so they're back on the cycle again. But yeah.
I don't think this was an actual movie theater. I think this was the barn, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
Barn.
but I mean, there's somewhere where they found a reel of film. There must have been a movie theater somewhere close, unless it's the only film they have and they watch it every week.
That is actually something good to know. Is like that someone saved like a projector, a film projector, or just a digital one. It could be a digital.
Well,
projector.
I also don't know when digital projectors became more common and they started digitally sending movies to theaters, and there was no physical media.
That's a good question.
But that might have been later in the 2000s. I don't know exactly
Who invented
when that started.
this?
Lumiere. It's his fault. Joel tells Tommy that Ellie is immune and kind of breaks down asking for his help. This is a very vulnerable moment for Joel. He's also drinking again. Man hasn't got his hand on a pill bag in like months. He's jonesing hard. He needs I need some pills. All I got is this really good whiskey. He's getting good whiskey though. He can tell it tastes good. I love the little look on his face. He's like, oh, you guys actually have good whiskey. I've been drinking this crap out of my
it's just
flask.
like some juice
Been
old.
It had like a little tape label on the bottle, which made me think they've been making it. Like they've been distilling their own whiskey there. Great stuff. He tells Tommy about Tessa's death and how he's slowing down and worried about Ellie's safety and is making him feel like his heart is stopped. This guy is like in full anxiety panic attack mode, PTSD all over the place. Then we get the most emotionally devastating line in this episode. He talks about how he's not sleeping and when he does wake up, he quote, I just know that when I wake up, I've lost something. I'm failing in my sleep. I mean, we've all had those dreams where you have your work dreams or your career dreams, and it's a mess, and you wake up and you're like, oh, thank God that's not real. Have those dreams and then wake up and you're in like a post-apocalyptic world with infected and you're trying to keep this girl alive. Like, just panic upon panic, no relief from this panic.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I kind of thought that, he said even before the show started, Craig Mazin and Druckmann, that Joel was going to be more vulnerable. He was going to feel his age more. And I kind of thought that was a little bit self-contained, like, oh, it makes him just more vulnerable instead of the video game invincibility.
Yeah.
But it's also been building up to him feeling like this is the reason why he has to get Ellie off of him. I don't.
He's got to unburden himself with Ellie because
he's scared that he's
getting so invested in her and he's so afraid he's going to be the cause of her death again. Yeah. Like him bringing up that like, I'm old, I'm slow, I didn't hear that guy, I couldn't stop that guy. She had to kill this guy because of me, because I'm failing. That's heavy stuff. I also love, we see him trying to fix his shoe with the hand that he punched the federal agent with, that it has the hairline fracture. It's still a problem for him. And I think the shoes are a good metaphor here. He's putting duct tape on it earlier, a quick fix to a problem, when the real solution is replace the boots, my guy.
Tommy.
Look to community.
Helped.
You can't do it all yourself. You have to look out for help. Remember, he thinks he's Tommy's savior, and here he is begging Tommy to save him. He's like, I'm done. I'm old.
That's the stuff that I think mentally Joel will come full circle with. And he has, because he's like, get the gun. He's now realizing that, because he's like, I'm getting too old. And it's like, well, Ellie's getting older, and she's very good at what she does. So she'll be fine.
I mean, even the old couple in the cabin points out, like, who's this little psycho? Like, they can tell right away this girl ain't right. Tommy does agree to take Ellie on after he hears the whole story. He's like, I'll do it. But Ellie has overheard this conversation, we later see, which is very interesting.
Yeah, Joel and Ellie have a heartbreaking conversation that is pulled almost word for word from the game. Joel changes his mind about taking Ellie after flashing back to a Christmas with Sarah. He's getting so soft. He's getting soft.
He didn't sleep again, and he's like, I love this. Like, I tried. I was going to leave a half hour ago, but I couldn't.
Plot twist. Those are all therapy horses.
They
we tricked
therapy
you.
horses.
The
horses run the town. These communist horses. This is Animal Farm,
It's
baby.
the sheep and the horses.
4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
Oh my God. They leave for the University of Eastern Colorado and get there without a hitch, but there are no signs of fireflies at the college, just some monkeys. A group of raiders arrives on the campus and Joel and Ellie try to make it to their horse, but Joel's bad hearing gets him again and one of the raiders sneaks up behind him. Joel takes a gnarly wound to an abdomen from a broken baseball bat that I thought was a shiv from prison. I thought it was a prison shiv, but Brandon was like, just because it's a baseball bat, and re-showed it to me, and it is. Before snapping the neck of his assailant, he straight up chokeholds.
Yeah, was this the first time that he choked someone, or he snapped his neck, but choked someone like that, like in the game?
Yeah, I think so. We haven't really seen him do that before. He's gotten in tussles, but that move is like very game move.
I don't know. I've never done it, but I can tell you it's probably physically so hard to break someone's neck like that without training. So I was like, he's just doing this pure like adrenaline.
I could do it.
I
could do it.
And I bet he's done it a few times, right? You can do it to chicken, just grab a chicken.
Try it on me right now, because I'll kick your ass. We got time on this?
Yes, but we don't have the health insurance.
That's true. I know you have a shiv.
I got
also,
life
so I would
insurance.
never do it.
Yeah, I keep it in my sock.
Yeah, I did love you see him break the baseball bat on a tree, and like Joel grabs him, and that's how the stabbing happens. It's really quick, but it's
Not
great.
to be that person. Also, have you ever hit a tree with a baseball bat? That reverberation hurt so bad that shit would break off so quick, or you would drop it so quick. I used to smash mailboxes. Keep going.
This girl's a problem. This little psycho here. So the two take off on horseback and outrun the other raiders, with Ellie doing some sweet behind the back, taking shots at him. Joel slips off the back of the horse, and we end the episode with Ellie pleading for Joel to open his eyes. Damn it, Joel, she can't fucking do this without you, Joel. Okay, you got to get it together. The credits roll on a cover of Depeche Mode's Never Let Me Down Again. The same song that closed episode 1, Danger Time. We're in danger. What an episode. It was nice to kind of have no infected at all this episode. Very interesting. And also, not a lot of, it was nice to kind of feel safe. But this episode is titled Kin, and we see a lot of family dynamics in this episode that I think we should talk about for our first point today. Ellie asks Joel what we're going to do after all of this, and seems sad when she sees Joel and Tommy getting a reunion, right? And Joel is very quick to kind of push off this we idea, like the old, what, do you got a mouse in your pocket? we're not a we. Joel seems jealous of Tommy's new family.
I missed the reference. What's that from?
Oh, if you ever say we're going to go to the store, you're talking to someone like, oh, we're going to go to the store, and you say to them, like, what, do you got a mouse in your pocket? We're not going to the store. Yeah,
why is there a mouse?
So there's a we.
There's a we.
It sounds like an erection joke.
I'm an old man. Oh, it's not an erection joke. It's not. You got any cheese
what
in
is
your
it?
pocket?
Hold on.
Are you happen to meet me, or is that a mouse in your pocket?
Exactly.
Joel seems jealous of Tommy's new family with Maria and the fact that she has a child on the way. Tommy also kind of just dipped out and didn't say hi, I'm leaving, murderer, I gotta go. I also want to circle back kind of on that sound design thing we talked about in the moment he thinks Ellie's gonna be torn apart by the dog. This kind of compounding idea of family and the danger that they're in.
Which part do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about all the family dynamics in this episode, right? This idea that Joel is so afraid of getting close to Ellie, and it keeps, every time I feel like he gets close, he backs off, and then he gets closer than he was before. It's like one step forward, two steps back in a way. Like he can't help himself but getting closer and closer to Ellie.
Well, you see a bunch of different types of families in this episode. You start out with the two people who are just living on their own, seemingly child-free. I guess they could have children. I don't know.
There could be a child out in the woods somewhere they don't want to mention for their safety, right?
They have fur babies and the rabbits that they kill. You see, so they're living on their own. You have Joel and Ellie, obviously. You have Tommy and his wife, and now who is pregnant now. So that's their own family. You have the family that is the commune.
Yeah.
They're one big family. Are there more?
Well, I think this episode really shows the strength of family, like we were saying earlier, right? The power of communism, but the power of a commune and a family where you share and you trade and you're all working together toward a goal. Yeah. Like both the small example and the large example point to it's a red flashing light for Joel where it's like, hi, you need family. You can't do this on your own, and he's starting to realize that too.
More than family, I think it's just you need support. Even in your shoe,
right?
You need support.
You need good shoes.
You need the support. I think Tommy's is more interesting because it's the situation of you had a daughter, and do you remember how much that took a toll on you when she passed? I'm gonna be that dad now, and I have to protect my child. I can't go to Colorado, and he's just I need you to do this one favor for me, and he's like, and it's also the fact that like Joel thought like I'm protecting my little brother, and it's like, well, he's not a little brother anymore.
Right.
He has a family now.
What Tommy says to Joel to kind of like win that argument, if you will, when he's like, just because this happened to you doesn't mean like I have to do what you say, right? It was a sharp dagger. That was the first stabbing that Joel took this episode. Is that fair for Tommy to say that? He later apologizes, right? But was it right for Tommy to say that? Is he right?
Well, that's the interesting part. Is like as a little sibling, it's like if you had your entire life, your brother looking over you and doing all these things and telling you what you did wrong.
Right.
Like you were the mess up. Even before the pandemic, he was like, yeah, my brother's in jail again. He's always doing these bad things. And it's like looking down on him and then finally standing his own ground, fighting his own, meeting a woman, falling in love, getting married, having a child. And he's like, no, I can't do this. Like you always put this on me and I'm not going to take it. Like I can't do that for you. You have to do this yourself. I don't think it was like right. But in the moment of being like a little sibling and having all this on your shoulder, it probably came out as kind of word vomit and an honest truth. Because, I mean...
Yeah, there's a difference between what's true and what's right or kind
Right.
to say, you know? And I think his words were like, time doesn't stop, or like, time can't stop, or something like that, which, watch time, that whole motif.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, I think it was also a bit of a wake-up call. Like, again, he can be right, and it might not be nice to hear.
I think the epidemic probably made people more blunt, too.
Yeah,
like,
there's no reason
there's
to
no
have
room for courtesy.
Social mores, right?
And also they're like on a commune where they trade, so they're probably bartering. That's like a lot more aggressive. They're probably like, look here, this is what you're gonna get. Like, I'm gonna just be honest.
What did you think of like the illusion of sheep in this episode? I kind of like the idea. Like we talked about this with Bill and Frank some too. Is this a good idea for this town to wall themselves off and stay the way society was? I mean, they have formed a commune and they're sharing and all that, but like, are they safer like this?
Well, unlike Bill and Frank, they're going out there and killing people. So
That's
it's
true.
like they're making everyone notice.
They have the wall. They're watching the area. They're very aware when someone comes into their territory from far away.
I don't know if they're going out and killing seems like on the attack, like on the offense. But I think they're like defending their little little paradise, which, I mean, it's just as dangerous as I guess we're kind of living now in regular society, because it is the most close thing to normalcy that we've seen in this show in a community.
And I guess in a difference from Bill and Frank, they've welcomed people in as needed. I guess some people weren't living there, but it sounds like when people walk up, they have the dog. If the dog doesn't kill you, we'll talk. Right?
I think that what I was from the first family that we see in that live alone, they were like, yeah, that place is dangerous. That's where you're gonna die. It's just a bunch of innocent people that have been killed. So I think everyone on the outskirts of the city is like, we just don't go over there.
Right.
So I think it's just like not killing, but I guess like keeping a barrier and making people, because even she said it in the episode of something like making them believe. What did she say? She said something that was really like not inspirational, but like moving about like we're not killing for like sport. We're just sending a message that like don't come over here. Or something
they're
like that.
pretending to be. It sounds like the way that they're killing people who are a threat to them. They make it seem that like whoever's in these walls, they're really bad people. They're mean. They're vicious. It sounds like they could be mutilating these bodies in a way to like scare off people. That like, I don't even want to mess with this. Look what they did to this body I found. Like, but her thing is like, that's not us on the inside. That's what we're projecting on the outside. To keep us safe. And it's like the things we do to keep each other safe.
It works.
I also really found it interesting in Tommy and Joel's conversation as we talk about family. The family they had before, when it was like Tommy, Joel, Tess, and whoever else was involved in the little murder crew. It sounds like Tommy was never in on it as much. He was just going along. Or is that something Maria has kind of come to terms with, where she's like, well, Joel made Tommy do all that stuff?
Oh, just judging off of... I mean,
Is she
Tommy
justifying-
admits himself.
Yeah.
He says, it's not you, it's we. We did those things. So, I mean, I don't know. Maria's side of it, we get that, but we hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
But I think it's because he feels guilty. And so he's like, again, he's like treated like a little brother all the time. So I took it as like, oh, maybe he was the first one to bring up, because Tess and Joel were already together as a unit.
Right.
Tommy was by himself. He didn't have another person. So it was just being like, hey, maybe this isn't the right idea. And Tess and Joel being like, this is all we can do.
Well, and it is, as Joel has said before, Tommy was a follower, right? He was always looking for something to follow, a cause or something like that. And Joel may have manipulated that in a way and being like, Tommy, you have to come murder these people with us.
I mean,
this is what we need to do to survive.
Anna's still right, though. He did do it. So it doesn't make him a good person. He still do it.
I mean,
he still did it. So you're still at fault.
Who knows what we would do in the...
Play dead?
I would kill people.
We know what Anna would do in the apocalypse. What would I do in the apocalypse? I would go to nerdriot.shop and buy one of our brand new shirts.
Okay.
Inspired by The Last of Us, baby.
Let me be clear. I would wear one of our shirts.
As you're being murdered by Anna in the
in.
apocalypse, look for the light. Look for the light. Anna's not the light. She'll kill you in the apocalypse. You got crackers? You're dead. But yeah, go to nerdriot.shop. Pick up this shirt. We got a lot of awesome other merch on the site. We've got Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania merch available on the site right now.
Yeah, there we go.
You can get that. That's opening this weekend if you haven't already seen it. But check it out. It's a great way to support the work we do here at New Rockstars. Lots of great merch options there. Nerdriot.shop. Check it out. Support the channel. Rock some great merch. And have a great time. Also, we've talked about it before, this lovely jacket. Joel's got a new jacket now that he's in colder temperatures. But if you remember this jacket, this is the jacket he's also been wearing. He's got it on underneath his puffer. It's from Huckberry. The costume designers that work on the show, they got this jacket from Huckberry. It's a flint and tinder wax canvas trucker jacket. Straight from Huckberry. It's flannel lined, so it's very warm as I sweat here under the lights. And it's comfy, and I love it, and it's great. It's made in the USA from really sturdy stuff, and it's probably also cordyceps resistant, but I still have not tested that. I'm very
We're busy.
busy guy. Once the show's done, I will test it then when I don't have to be here for the after
I have
shows.
scurvy. If I bite you, will it be the same?
I don't know if you can get scurvy through bites, but we'll find out. Click the link in this video's description to buy your own and help support our Last of Us coverage here at New Rockstars. So let's get into like our next round. A little spoiler. Let's talk about some changes from the game. So if you haven't played the games, you don't want to be spoiled anymore. Come back out after you played the games. But some spoilers coming now. So here we go. Some changes from the game.
Changes from the game. The first one, right off the bat at the beginning of the episode, that couple ain't in the game, and what a great addition.
So good. Everything they said was so good.
I just want to take a nap in her bosom, just curl up. I'm so happy and warm.
I mean, what a lovely lady. Makes you soup. Great. I mean, I just love the blunt. We talked about the bluntness in a post-apocalyptic world, even from the couple. They have like they love each other, it's clear, but like their language is very blunt.
Did you tell them the truth? Yeah. Are you
Did you lie to
telling me the
them?
truth?
Did you lie to me? I don't know.
No.
I love it. We did get that. We talked about it a little bit last time on how the game, Henry and Sam die, and then it does the cut to 3 months later. But in the game, the 3 months later is in the fall, not the winter. So they've changed the timeline a tiny bit, but hey.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
The winter Wyoming is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love those mountains around the town. It looked gorgeous, picturesque.
Oh, lovely. In the game, they have to fix the dam, but in this, it's already up and working. In this show, Jackson seems like sort of a really big community, like a whole thing.
They said it was about like 300 people or something like that in the town.
It's a lot
of people. Too many people.
And in the game, it seems slightly smaller. He says we're over 20 families, but when you say over 20, such a specific number, it's probably like 22 or something like that.
You would say over 30 if you had more than 30.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And we don't actually see Jackson in the game until The Last of Us Part 2. So it's bigger and and we see it.
They have a lot more going on at this Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. So because we don't actually see Jackson in the first part of the game, most of the events of the episode take place at the dam and then later at an abandoned neighborhood that Ellie runs away to, which is another change is that in the game, Ellie overhears them talking about her being passed off to Tommy, and she takes off on horseback. Yeah, I think she takes off on a horse, and they panic and Joel panics mostly and has to go find her with Tommy. And that's what her being in danger is what makes Joel change his mind and be like, no, I'm coming with you.
No, I'm going with you.
Deep gruff.
I personally love that change. I was afraid they were going to do the runaway plot line, and they didn't. And I also love how they subverted like the gamer's expectation there, where it's like you don't see her overhearing the conversation. You see her walking around town, like looking around. Where's Joel? What's going on? And I love the reveal later that she's heard the conversation as she's reading the journal too. Again, Ellie with an edge is like, all they got to worry about is boys and what they're going to wear.
Well, and that was a pretty much shot for shot of the game.
Is this really all they had to worry about? Boys, movies, deciding which shirt goes with which skirt.
this really all they had to worry about? Boys, movies, deciding which shirt goes with which skirt.
I'm sorry about your daughter, Joel, but I have lost people too.
You have no idea what loss is.
Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
I'm sorry about your daughter, Joel. But I have lost people too.
You have no idea what loss is.
Everybody I have cared for has either died or left me. Everybody fucking except for you! So don't tell me that I'd be safe with somebody else, because the truth is, I would just be more scared.
You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad. And we are going our separate ways. You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad. Now come dawn, we're going our separate ways.
I do love they didn't do the whole runaway thing. Joel being there in the morning was like a nice, cute surprise.
Yeah, I mean, really, it makes sense practically because not much happened during, there's no reason really for her to run away. The same scene takes place, and it's mostly gamer shit. Have Joel shoot.
Gamer stuff.
Just gamer
Missions.
shit.
Missions.
So Maria is pregnant in this one and lost her son. Those are new details. She's just chilling in the game. She's just chilling, being a little leader.
They gave her a lot more agency here, which I really like. Also, did you recognize?
She was still pretty sassy.
Did you recognize Maria?
Who is she?
She is Tara from True Blood.
No, it's
Another
not.
HBO
No,
show.
it's not.
That's
No,
Tara
it's
from
not.
True Blood.
Did
you ever watch True
Blood?
Blood?
No.
She looks
Eggs.
so good still.
Eggs, my eggs.
That's not her.
That is her.
That is not her.
That is her.
She still looks great.
She's killing it. Great stuff.
I'm Twilight or bust. I'm so old.
I'll bust.
And then Joel's...
Oh, yeah, you will.
Not like that.
Yeah, you will.
Oh no, is there a mouse in your pocket? Or anyway, and Joel's reasoning for leaving Ellie with Tommy is different. This is in the game. Joel is not. He doesn't have this big monologue, this meltdown sort of a thing. It's more of a logical thing for him. It's like you have the guys. You should go take her and finish this off.
I also on that real quick, the panic attacks that he's having. That's like kind of a new device for the show, which I really like that. It's very interesting because, having in the game would be weird, like press X to breathe slowly. I don't know. But it's a very interesting device. And I love that thing too. It's like, not that he wants to get rid of her because he's just sick of it. It's that he knows that he's falling in love and he's like, I've got to get away from this because my body can't handle it.
Yeah, that layer of vulnerability and fear was so effective.
Yeah.
And that whole monologue was probably my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah.
I really loved it. So yeah, as we mentioned before, there are no infected at all in this, including the University of Eastern Colorado. The way Joel gets that wound is different in the show than in the game. Broke a baseball bat in the show. In the game, he falls onto a piece of rebar. It's really shocking. It's one of those almost fall on a fence moments where you're just like, oh my god.
And as Ellie, you have to pull him off in the game. I do also like the change of not the rebar thing because that is a very
I wanted it.
superhero moment, right? I think we could believe that Joel could continue to live from this stab.
Yeah.
The whole pulling someone off of rebar is very intense.
I loved it so much. I want it. I just love gore. So
I'm sure we'll get more gore.
I was very I can't wait to watch Ellie pull him off of this giant slab.
We'll get into our kill counts for this episode, and it's not going to take too long because there's only one death this episode. Joel gets one by strangulation and broken neck.
Is that
pretty
the
powerful.
Is that the kill of the week?
That's the kill of the week here on The Last of Us. The kill of the week. So real quick before we wrap up this episode, and we're in full spoiler mode now, we can talk about the second game, we can talk about whatever we want. A question I have for you both is something we've heard on the podcast, the after show podcast for this show from Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, is that the creators have talked a lot. There are still a lot of surprises in store for people who have played the games and are watching the show. The next episode of this show is called Left Behind, the title of the DLC for the game that exists mostly in flashback, but still has some of Ellie looking for meds for Joel. We'll see what happens there. What changes to the end of the season do you think we're going to see?
I wonder if they're going to avoid the more like...
Eating humans?
Oh no! When he gets Ellie, when he is on top of her, and that's a very visceral moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right word, but it's just like I don't know if they're gonna avoid that. I really enjoy the beats in the game. I wonder if I don't know if it's a big enough difference for them to talk about it, but I wonder if Ellie's gonna kill Riley in the game.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
Right, we're expecting to see a flashback this next episode to in the mall when her and Riley get attacked. And if in the game she doesn't kill Riley, but in the show we know that she's killed.
Well, we don't
one
know.
person.
She
think,
could have.
Right, she could have. That's a
They
good
love
point.
connecting things so much
Right.
for like the bread at the first episode and the handshaking. They'll watch it be like, yeah, that is the one.
Will
person that
will this next episode start with the image of a snowy
Yes.
forest
rabbit.
floor and a little rabbit come hopping?
Yes.
And people who know are gonna look to the people watching
What-
the
okay,
show who
maybe-
don't know.
Maybe it won't be as gruesome as an arrow. Maybe it'll be like, oh no, I was gonna say maybe it's gonna fall into like a bear trap, but that's
Right.
way worse than an arrow.
Well, and do you think, as we talk about the
Maybe it goes in a
changes,
box.
how they're going to surprise us, are they going to surprise us with something very, like a shocking death that does not happen in the games? Like, could Tommy die? Could Maria die?
What if
Could someone who we know survives in the games not survive this season of the show?
What if Riley was never gonna... This is very stupid. This is like literally rogue theory. What if Riley was never gonna turn? What if Riley was just...
Was also? Oh, no.
Or just like stayed alive and was like, should we kill each
What
other?
if Riley's still alive and has become the mega bloater?
What if she is a bloater? That'd be insane.
And she comes back
How
and she's
could you
like,
tell that's
I
her?
followed you all the way to Wyoming.
I love your new voice, right? It's great.
I don't think the bloaters talk like that.
I don't know. I think if it's not as small as shooting Riley, I don't think they'd change too much about the DLC because they've already introduced the arcade games, so it feels like they're setting
Right.
that specific mall
Yeah.
scene up. I think it'd probably have to do with the cannibals and all that, and maybe the fight in the
how that goes
barbecue
down.
place or whatever.
I think if she did kill Riley, it was probably with that knife, her mother's knife. Oof, tough stuff.
Here's something I noticed in the show. In the barn, when they first get there and are eating that thing, and she gives the mean mug to the girl, could that be Dina?
Oh, very
The
interesting.
actress kind of looked like the in-game.
Well, there was a lot of kind of like foreshadowing of part 2, right? We saw Shimmer, who is Ellie's horse in part 2, the cute little pony.
I love
we
it's a
saw.
pony
So
now.
cute. It's got to grow up a little bit. We also learned that Joel wants to settle down at an old farmhouse and raise some sheep. And this is kind of what Ellie and Dina will do in The Last of Us Part 2. Is she going to steal his idea? Could Joel die this season? Would that be totally insane?
I don't know. That's on. I think that's a TV. It's on the audience for TV versus the audience for games. If it will come across for HBO Max like a good idea to kill Pedro Pascal that quickly.
Right.
I think the big moment is his decision to, and then his decision to take her and then lie to her. I feel like that's a good season finale.
Yeah.
I do. When he said that sheep line, I did clock and I was like, oh my god, that's gonna be why Ellie's so about raising
Starts
sheep.
a farm. Yeah. Ugh, adorable.
There it is. So that is it for this episode of The Break Room. We'll be back next week to discuss episode 7. But we also do the show every day live at 3 p.m. talking about all the nerdy news you love and all the nerdy news that you need to know. Follow me at Lulu_Clemons. Follow Brandon at Grin and Barrick. Follow Anna at It's Anna Vanston. Subscribe to The Break Room wherever you get your podcast, and we'll see you Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Damn!